Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tolopan from the Digimon Academy here today to do my bt7 pre-release guide. I know y'all want to get out there and win those pre-release winner promos, and I'm here to help you do that. Last set, the way I did my pre-release guide is I went through the entire set and I chose cards that were going to be good in the specific format that pre-release is. And if for anyone who doesn't know, pre-release format is you build a slightly smaller deck, but you can digivolve any Digimon into a Digimon of any color. The color restriction that you usually are alluded to in the Digivolution cost doesn't apply, but it still applies for certain things like effects and option cards. So it's this it's this weird draft format where you can be really high rolly and your deck can be a lot more consistent because you're not reliant on certain things and cards and strategies. But this time we're going to do a little different. We're going to go through each card in the set individually. That way we can look at each card's worth as a pre-release card. And obviously this list is in alphabetical order. So we'll start with Aldemon. He's a play cost 8, Digivolve cost of 3, level 5, 8k. Pretty average for a level 5. This set has a lot of hybrids, so a lot of these cards are going to mention hybrids. Unfortunately, this Digimon is like really, really okay. But this inheritable is really, really strong. Sort of. So you have to take this with a grain of salt because option cards aren't really that great in this format because a lot of the options in this set don't do a whole lot. Unlike last set where we had a lot of kill spell options. This would have been a great card last set, but this card just doesn't really do a whole lot, unfortunately. It can get big, like when digivolving, if you have a hybrid underneath it, which is very likely. This card gets 4,000 DP for the turn, so it's a 12k swinging. I think this card is super okay, and I'll probably play it if I pull it, but it's just kind of niche. Ancient Evolution, this card's completely unplayable, mostly because it has that problem where cards that specify color requirements. This would normally let you evolve one of your hybrids into basically a 10 warriors. And it would make it really, really cheap, ignoring levels and all kinds of things. But unfortunately, they have to match colors, which makes this card really, really bad. This set also, we get all of our ancients, because we have, right now, everybody will know we have Ancient Greymon, Ancient Garurumon, Ancient Troymon, and all the ancients pretty much do the same thing. On deletion, you get to play a hybrid of the matching color for the most part. Yeah, with the matching color. And then they have their own little effect. Ancient Beetlemon's pretty cool. When one of your Digimon with 10 warriors deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, you get to trash the top card of the opponent's security stack. I think Ancient Beetlemon is probably the strongest of all the the level 6s that you'll see for draft. The ability to get free checks, especially trashing checks, is really underrated in this kind of format. His 5 evolve cost is a bit much, but I mean, all the ancients are 13. Like, these things aren't going down easy. Ancient Kazumon's okay. She just makes all your security mon buffer, which is cute. I mean, I don't think this is really that strong. I mean, but like, if you pull the hybrids and you pull their matching ones, you'll obviously play them. But this is a pretty weak effect on average for the format. Ancient Megatheriummon. For each card with hybrid in its traits in this evolution, trash a Digivolution card. Then for each Digimon with no Digivolution, draw 2. This is probably the most okayest of the ancients. In a format where we can't really guarantee trashing effects, this is pretty neat, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. However, we get to draw 2 for each card with no Digivolution. This can be good and this can be bad. Hardcasting in this format happens a lot, mostly due to the fact that sometimes you can get kind of bricked and not draw what you need to draw cohesively. So a lot of people will hardcast stuff. If you just digivolve straight into this, you might end up drawing somewhere between 4 to 8 cards. And that can be good or bad, because it can either draw you into exactly what you need, or you can almost deck out. There have been many pre-release games where I deck out, because I have to constantly keep evolving to keep up the pressure. And cards like this seem just like super okay to me, just because drawing too much can be a problem in this game. Ancient Sphinx one's pretty cool. When digivolving, you get to delete one of your Digimon with 10 warriors or hybrid in its traits to delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to it. This is pretty good. Almost every card in this set is a hybrid, so you will almost always have a target for this. And there's usually always a target on your opponent's field that's level 4 or lower. So getting the level 4 hybrids out, or the level 5 ones, and just being able to just straight up delete them, your opponent's stuff, is pretty neat. This is just an okay, good mega. Good value mega. Ancient Volcanomon. So this is the big black hybrid one. When digivolving, you get to digivolve 3 one of your opponent's Digimon. Just really, really good removal. This basically sets your opponent back 2 turns. You go into this and your opponent's set back. And then it just has a straight up on delete effect that you get to play the black hybrid, which I think the black hybrid for this set is Grumblemon and whatever his other level version is, the level 4 version. So just a really, this is probably the second best mega right here, Ancient Volcanomon. We moved for the hybrids anyway. We moved to Antilamon. 637k level 5. When digivolving, you get to play a purple tamer card with a play cost of 3 or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. You're probably never going to use this effect. This requires you to have a purple tamer, and the only purple tamer in the set is Kyoji, I think his name is, and like most of the hybrid tamers in the set are like super okay. You will only play them if you get the matching hybrids, because the problem is you have to digivolve the hybrids onto matching color tamers. It's not like the Digimon where you can just straight up digivolve them. So the only reason I would ever see somebody playing the majority of the tamers is if they have synergy with other Digimon. Because the tamers in this set don't do anything is the problem. The tamers for the hybrid format were built to be digivolved on top of and then have their effects. Most of them don't really have any like really good on plays that work for this specific format. Except like Tommy, I think. I think Tommy is probably the best of them. But you're definitely not going to use this to play Kyoji. That just seems ridiculous. So this is probably just a card you play if you don't have any other ultimates. Otherwise, this card's just really bad. Avenge Kidmon. When playing this card from your hand, reduce its memory cost by 1 for each option card in your hand, and your opponent's trash. On play, return all cards with 3 Musketeers and their traits, and all option cards from both players' trashes to the bottom of their decks. And if 7 or more cards, delete 1 Digimon with 3 Musketeers and its traits. Or 8,000 DP or less. This is terrible. There are barely going to be any option cards played at all. I highly ever doubt you get to the 7 that you need. Because most people will play somewhere between 1 to 4 options in their deck. So, like, the chances of this popping off are just really, really bad. Plus, it has extremely low DP. And there is a shot that you get to evolve this. Or, yeah, I'm sorry, when playing this, there's a shot you could get this for maybe an 8-drop level 6. But then it's an 11k on board that dies to a lot of things. It's just not a good card. Alright, we got our first hybrid of the set, Beetlemon. You get to evolve on top of a green tamer as if it was a level 3 for 2. And then when digivolving, you get to reveal the top 5 to add a hybrid or a JP. Shibuya. JP is going to be your level 3 tamer. This will be your only target to evolve Beetlemon. But this is a really good when digivolving effect in general, because you get to look at the top 5 for a hybrid, and the majority of cards in this set are hybrid. So you have a very high chance to just hit natural targets. So this is a very, very good card. You'll probably run every copy you get, no matter what your top end looks like. just because of the fact that it allows you to search for your top end. The JP search is kind of irrelevant, but you know, if it happens, it happens. Beowulfmon. When one of your Digimon with a Tamer card and his Digivolution cards digivolves into this, reduce the memory cost by 2. Probably not going to happen. Then when attacking, you may return a card with hybrid in its traits from this Digimon's sources to return one of your opponent's level 4 Digimon to the hand trash sources. Okay, this is a really good effect. So you get to swing with this, you get to put a hybrid back in your hand, and then you get to bounce one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Super, super strong card. Very, very good for this format. I don't really need to say more. Cards that give you value and give you removal are just really, really strong. Betamon. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add a green level 4 Digimon or a green Tamer from among them to your hand. This is really good if you get a lot of green stuff. Otherwise, this is really, really awkward. Mostly due to the fact that it has to be a level 4 green Digimon, of which this is cool to add like Beetlemon and stuff, but like there aren't a whole lot of green level 4s in this set. I think there's like 2 or 3. And if you don't pull enough of them, this is really hard to play because it also only searches a green Tamer, and your only green Tamer we know is JP Shibiyama. I think I said it wrong earlier. But yeah, no, just a really okay card. Like you'd probably put it in your deck because it has a 0 evolve, and you need a bunch of 0 evolve rookies to be able to go off your eggs. Blue Hawaii Death. 2-drop option for the turn. One of your Digimon gets 3k and can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no Digivolution cards. This is really, 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 really good if your opponent bricks and hardcast something and you have a blue card and you're able to use it. Like, there is going to be a niche scenario where you have a blue Digimon out and you can play this and your opponent doesn't have something with sources and you get to just swing over it for free. I think this is a good card. Unfortunately, I just don't think it will come up enough. But, you know, if you pull it as a one-of, it's probably good enough to run as a one-of. Pokemon. Okay, this is probably the strongest card in this set. Like, just for consistency. So on play, you get to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add a card with Hybrid and a Tamer card. It just looks at the top 5 for the 2 things that you will pull the most of in your packs. And then, whenever one of your Tamers Digivolves, gain 2 memory. So if you have the Tamer Evolve synergy, you can actually get value off of it. So you will probably play every single copy of Pokemon that you pull, because this card is insane. It's so strong, and it's so good. It does everything you want it to do. It searches, it gives you more consistency, and it helps you do your combos in order to find your stuff. It's just a really, really good card. Okay, we go to Boutmon. 637k level 5. Opponent's turn. When an opponent's Digimon attacks a player, if you have 3 or more security, unsuspend this Digimon. This is a terrible effect. If my opponent promoted... Like, I guess this could catch somebody off guard. Like, if they swing with a rookie first and this restands, it's kind of cool. But, like, you will probably never field an ultimate to swing unless you're going to trade it with something. And if your opponent promotes to swing at you, they're probably swinging at this since it's already suspended, which means this thing won't unsuspend. Oh wait, this is an inheritable. Ooh. See, this is also the problem I have. When I'm reading these, I always think they're an effect. I always mistake them for inheritables. This is being an inheritable is kind of interesting. Because we can restand our megas if they can't swing over them. But it's like the same issue, right? If they were going to promote and swing anyway, they probably had enough to swing over my guy anyway. It's neat. I think it's cute. Like, I don't think this is crazy, but 6 play cost is pretty good. Brachiomon, 7/3 10k vanilla. Yep, nothing to say here. It's a good card. You'll play it. I mean, it's huge. It's just a good card. Brave Metal, 5-drop option. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less. If you have a Digimon with 5 or more Digivolution cards and X antibody in its traits, you can just delete one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody. This is really, really good removal for cheap stuff. If you have the way to meet this condition, this is removal for anything, and it's really, really good. You'll probably play this either way, because there are chances it'll proc. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I mean, but you have to think about it like this. You have to have a black card to play this. So statistically, you'll probably have the X antibody trait anyway. So it's just a 5-drop kill spell for anything. It's interesting. Obviously, your circumstances will determine whether you want to play this or not. Pokemon. I don't ever really talk too much about in training level Digimon. For draft format, you're going to play every one of these that you pull. Because on average, you're going to pull somewhere between 2 to 6 of these. And you're just going to play all the ones you play. Their specific effect doesn't matter. Because you're not going to pull enough of multiples that you're going to be like, oh, I should be running like Bukamon over Koromon. That's not going to happen. You're going to run all your eggs because you only pulled so many eggs. So their effects are only really relevant when they come up. New Pokemon. Ooh, I like a 4-cost level 4. That's pretty good. 2 and 5. He's got the inheritable that when you have 3 or more security, this Digimon gains blocker. This is nuts. We can turn any of our level 5s or 6s into blockers for free. Blockers cannot be underestimated in this format. Last format, we didn't have a whole lot of blockers. So much so that Bandai thought it was necessary to put Andromon as a promo. The set 1 Andromon that was a level 5 blocker because the set was short on 2 things. It was short on level 5s and blockers. We might get another blocker promo again because of this. Or we could just get another Vidramon, you know. Because Bandai likes to meme on us. But this is such a strong effect, you will probably play every copy of this card. It is so cheap to just play this card out. It is naturally strong on its own, and it's cheap to evolve. This card is actually insane. Burning Greymon. You can digivolve this card into a red Tamers if it was a level 3 for 2. And then, if a card with hybrid in its traits or Takuya is in this Digimon's Digivolution, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4K or less. Really, really good card. We might not have the Takuya. Takuya is an insane tamer, by the way. Like, just specifically for this set, he's really, really, really good. But this card, Burning Greymon, is also really good because when digivolving, if we just have a hybrid in our traits, we can pop our opponent's rookies or small champions. So this is just a really, really good card. Oh, so it's definitely worth playing. Even though it's a 3 evolve, you can also evolve it for 1 on top of a level 4. So it's really, really good. Calling from the Darkness. It's a 1-drop main. Delete one of your Digimon, then return up to 2 purple Digimon cards for your trash to your hand. And security added to your hand. If you play a bunch of purple cards, I would play it. Mostly due to the fact that this returns any purple Digimon for the cost of deleting one of your own. It's just really, really good value. Unfortunately, you may not draw a lot of purple Digimon, so this might be hard to pull off. Other than that, just an okay card. It's bad because it's a dead security, but other than that, you know, you get to recur 2 purple Digimon. You can get what you're missing at any time. So if you pull a lot of purple, you'll play this. If you don't, you don't. Chaosdramon, one of our other level 6s in the set. This effect does not matter. It's not relevant. We don't have Machine Dramons in this set. When digivolving, you may place 1 red or black level 5 card with Cyborg. That is going to be hard to do. Probably. Top of this card's Digivolution to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6k DP or less for each level 5 card with Cyborg in its traits. See, this would be insane if I had Cyborgs in this set. I don't know how many Cyborgs there are in this set naturally. I think Dark Knightmon might be a cyborg, but that's debatable. I think he's actually just a knight. A virus type knight. But like, if we don't have any kind of synergy for this card is basically dead. It does nothing. It's just a 4-cost evolve 12k that does nothing. Because we need level 5s with Cyborg. This is really good for the EX1 Machine Dramon deck, but not really good in draft. Cherubimon. Big stats. When digivolving, you can play a purple tamer from your trash without paying its memory cost. Then for each tamer you haven't played, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. And then on deletion, for each tamer you have, you get to play a level 3 from your trash without paying its memory cost. Really, really, really good effects. Unfortunately, we have to have our purple tamer for this, of which there was only 1 in the set, and it's at the rare slot, which means out of your 6 packs, you have 12 chances to pull that card. it's probably not feasible. I mean, this card's okay for a mega, so like you'll probably just run it naturally because it has okay stats for the slot that you need it to fill in for. But this effect probably never resolving because you're probably never going to find the tamer to play it with, which is unfortunate. But you know, if you get both of them, these effects are just so generic that it's just really, really good. Plus, you can play it from the trash, so even if you trash the tamer off of other effects, you get to just play it again, which is even better. Just a good value card. Penmon. When digivolving for each Digimon your opponent has with no Digivolution, you get to draw one. Same problem I have with Ancient Theriamon, just drawing too many cards. Opponent's turn. When a card with hybrid in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution, none of your opponent's level 3 Digimon can attack. This card is so strong. You'll play this in every deck. It's just so good. Like, seriously, when evolving, for everything with no sources, you get to draw a card. So normally this is just pay 3, draw 1, or pay 3, draw 2. It's hardly ever pay 3, draw nothing. And then just on your opponent's turn, it's a wall for their rookies. Like, they just cannot attack whatsoever. This thing is cartoonishly strong. It is ridiculous. Also, it's a hybrid. I know it doesn't say that here, but if I click on this picture... Okay, one of these things says hybrid. I know you can't read Japanese, but, like... Well, some of you might. I shouldn't judge. I will move on to Dark Knightmon. On play, you may place a Skull Knightmon or a Deadly Axemon from your hand or trash in this Digimon's Digivolution in any order. And then when this Digimon would be deleted, you can play a Skull Knight or a Deadly Axe from this Digimon Digivolution card suspended without paying their memory cost. Both of these cards should be in this set. If I scroll down, I should see... Probably... Ooh, fun. I'm not seeing a Knightmon. Yup, okay. Have a slight problem. Or Skull Knight. Oh, so Skull Knight would be down in S. So we'll go ahead and check Skull Knight real quick. We do have Skull Knight. Fantastic. Okay. So now that we have confirmed that, this card is really good if we pull the other things. Unfortunately, Deadly Axemon is coming in at the uncommon slot, and Skull Knight is coming in at the rare slot. So we have a slight issue on that it is very hard to get both of these effects. However, we only need one for this. We could just play a Deadly Axemon. If we get both, we could play both, which is great, but worst case scenario, we just get the Deadly Axemon out for free. And that's just pretty good. Just good value. It's a good value ultimate, good stats for its cost, just really, really okay. Dead or Alive, we got ourselves an 8-drop purple option that lets us play a purple level 5 from our trash without paying its memory cost. But if there are 10 or more cards in our trash, I get to play a Digimon with Lucemon in its name. Okay, I'm going to spoil it. There is only one Lucemon in this set. It's Lucemon Fall Down mode, I'm pretty sure. Let me just check here. Pretty sure that there is a Lucemon in this set. Yep, Lucemon, oh sorry, not Fall Down, Chaos mode. Now, you get to play this for free if it's in your trash. Otherwise, there's like no way to go into that. So, I think this card is okay. The good news is you get to play purple level 5s, of which there are, I think, 2 or 3. So, if you pull all the cards for this, it's probably worthwhile to play it, because it's just a Monster Reborn for 8. It's not that bad. If you pull the Lucemon, you're definitely going to play this, because then the Lucemon can be recurred, and it's insane. Deadly Axemon. On play, reveal top 5 cards. Add 2 cards with Knightmon in their name among them to your hand, and then place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck. That is probably never going to be relevant unless we were missing this Dark Knightmon and we're trying to evolve into that. And then during your turn, well, this card has Digimon with Knightmon or Bagramon in its name, it gets 2k. It's cool if we have this. Otherwise, this is a card that does nothing and is very weak for the cost. So, I don't know. You would have to get the Dark Knightmon to play this, I think, unless you're just desperate for level 4s. Dino, Memory Boost. This card is insane. This is a 3-drop option that suspends one of your opponent's Digimon, and then it's a memory boost, which means you can delay it to gain 2 memory. Such a good card. Oh my gosh. There are so many good green stuff in this set. I think if you play and draft, green, red, and black are probably going to be the best colors to find the most consistent ways to win your games. Because this card is nuts. You just have a green Digimon out, this card just does everything. It just suspends a Digimon for you, and then you get 2 memory whenever you want. Worst case scenario, you hit insecurity. It's a free 2 memory. It's like, it's insane. You don't even have to have green in this deck. You just hit it naturally off something. But I mean, like, there's enough good green cards in this set that you could realistically run Dino Memory Boost, and, like, you'll eventually have a card to play it off of. It's really, really crazy good. Dino Rexmon. Big level 4. Or level 6, sorry. When Digivolving, you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then that Digimon does not unsuspend. Then this Digimon gets 1,000 for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. This card is terrible in Standard. However, it is amazing in Draft format. This card is so strong because imagine, right? You're in a position where your opponent has a gigantic thing on board and you're about to lose next turn. You promote that level 5, you Digivolve into this, there's nothing they can do. You are safe for another turn. This thing just buys you time and just does it all. Because not only does it suspend, being 12k, this will naturally swing over most megas, especially with inheritables, right? Like, there's a lot of inheritables that just naturally boost in this set. So, like, this thing can swing over most threats and deal with them on the spot. It's just so good. Doraemon, again, it's an in training, not going to talk about them. Darugamon, well, you have another Digimon to play with X antibody and its traits, or whatever, this gains blocker. And then it has inheritable X antibody gains 1,000. It's cool if you have X antibody stuff. I mean, otherwise this card is not really that great. If you pull a bunch of X antibody stuff, X antibody is probably the most synergistic. It's the closest you'll get to an archetype if you pull enough of the X antibody stuff. Because all the hybrid stuff only works with the specific colors. The X antibody is kind of the only archetypal thing that we have going for this set. So running the X antibody stuff is kind of neat. I mean, most of these X antibodies all do the same thing, which is they need you to have another card with X antibody. Yep, and just like that, we go to Darugamon, the level 6. For each card with X antibody and its traits, gets 1,000. And then when attacking, you can place a card with X antibody and its traits from your hand to the bottom of this Digivolution to delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with play cost less than or equal to this card's Digivolution cards. Okay, so if you have a level 5 Digivolution card, you get to delete a Digimon that's level 5. And if you have 4, it's 4. And, like, that's just really, really, really good value. Especially since you can throw X antibody stuff under it anyway. You don't even need to go up your initial chain with X antibody stuff. You could go up with, like, a Deadly Axemon and a Daipenmon, and then turn this thing into a Darugaramon, and then, like, throw a Darugreymon under it on attacking. It's really, really good. It's a mega that has a really cheap evolve cost and removal on a body, and it gets bigger. Thank goodness this thing was 11. If it was 12k naturally, I'd say this is probably the strongest mega in the whole set. I mean, it's just really, really good. Darugreymon. When Digivolving, you can place a black card with X antibody from your hand to the bottom of this Digivolution to prevent effects from deleting it or reducing its DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's cute. I don't think that's ever going to be relevant, mostly because we're not worried about options or of killing this. And I think there's 2 cards in this set that do DP reduction, and they're in yellow, and they're kind of hard to pull off. When this Digimon has X antibody and its traits, gain security +1. Oh man, that's a really good inheritable for Darugaramon. Oh, it's so good. Durmon, on play reveal 3 for an X antibody, and that's the tamer, the black tamer for the set. Really good if you get them both. Then the effect is just really good for the X antibody stuff because they all just place inheritables. It's an okay card. Eben Wumon. When Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then gain a memory for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. And then all of your opponent's Digimon gain, you must trash a card in your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. This thing is the best thing since sliced bread in this format. Oh my gosh, is it strong. Your Digimon all gain, you have to trash a card in your hand to unsuspend it, mind you. So, like, this isn't even about, like, because you naturally suspend one on play, right? But this isn't like Ice Ball where they can like just swing and they're like, oh cool, I just have to lose memory right now. In order to do anything with that Digimon whatsoever, or even just to keep it safe and naturally, you have to trash a card in hand. Maybe your opponent runs out of cards. I mean, that's just a thing that happens, right? Like, this is just so strong. It's ridiculous how strong green is in this set. 2-drop, Electric Rush. Main, one of your Digimon gets 3k DP for the turn. Then if you have 3 security cards exactly, unsuspend one of your Digimon. It's cool. It's alright, I guess. If you have a bunch of yellow cards, it's cool to play. Being at exactly 3 security is kind of hard, especially since you can't guarantee it. In Standard, you have cards like the BT5 Pulse, the BT6 Pulsemon, and Angelmon, all your recovery cards. They allow you to fix your security to where you can be at 3 and not have to worry about it. But like in draft, it's just really hard to predict that you'll ever be at exactly 3. Emperor Greymon, when Digivolving Blitz. And then once per turn, when it's blocked, you can unsuspend it and gain a memory for each Digivolution with Hybrid. So strong. Oh my gosh. The blocker thing isn't going to come up too much because there aren't a whole lot of blockers in this set. But man, oh man, is this card strong for just finishing the game out. Also, if you don't know, Takuya can go straight into Emperor Greymon. Like, it's actually nuts. His tamer effect, but we'll talk about it later. Eosmon, all your other Eosmon gain 1,000, and then on deletion you can play level 5 Eosmon. This would be great if we had Eosmons. This is support for an archetype that came out last set, so unfortunately it's not going to have any synergy in this set, but it's a cheap evolve. It's an okay mega. I'd probably play it just because it's cheap. Just good stats. Eismon. Okay, we got to talk about Eismon. We can't start here. We got to start here. So the Eismon scatter mode is on deletion. You get to draw 3 cards and then trash 2. Then we have this, right? Eismon, the level 4. When you trash this card in your hand by using one of your effects, if Eismon scatter mode's in your trash, you get to just play this card for free. And then it gets 2k DP for each Eismon in your trash. So strong if you see multiples. But, I mean, unfortunately, Scatter Mode is in the common slot, Eismon's in the uncommon slot, so it will be very hard to pull them both, and in order to get this combo off, you need them both. Like, it's not hard to pull off, right? Like, draw 3 trash 2 is really strong to be able to find Eismon when you're running 4 of it. If you pull multiples of these, they're worth running, but, like, otherwise, the only one that's worth running is Eismon, naturally, the Scatter Mode, the Eismon Scatter Mode, because it has that on deletion draw 3, draw 2, so you can just swing with this and fix your hand and then build up a better Digimon later. Philmon! For those who don't know, this is the champion of the starter from Digimon Rearise, the phone game. This is one of the only Digiverse cards in this entire set, which I don't know why they did this, because it's weird, because like almost all the yellow cards are just stuff that goes off Digibursting, but like it's really hard to get these effects because like there's only the yellow cards that Digiburst. You Digiburst 2, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -2. Really, really strong if we're super far behind. So yeah, it's just a card you'll play. Fire Drake Strike. 4-drop. Choose one of your Digimon with hybrid. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon DP less than or equal to. And then security, you can play a Takuya from your hand. It's okay. I think it's... you know what? I'm not going to say it's okay. This is terrible. You're never going to play this card. It's never going to come up. You need to have a Digimon with hybrid in its traits, which I get is not impossible, right? But then you also need to have a red card, and then it just deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to it. It's just kind of weird, and also the security effect 9 times out of 10 is going to do nothing. Flame Memory Boost. We get another Memory Boost this set. One of your Digimon just gains security +1. So strong. It's just like the green one. You're just going to play this card if you pull it, because it's ridiculous. It's just so good. Flamemon, on play, reveal top 4, add a card with hybrid in its traits, Susanoo-omon, or Takuya. Okay. You're going to play as many of this as you pull. I understand it's a rare, but, like, this searches the biggest threats in the entire format. It searches Takuya, Susanoo, and a hybrid. Like, it's just... I know it searches for one of them, but, like, it's all 3 of these are the biggest things you want to find in draft. Susanoo is the easiest, biggest threat to evolve into. Takuya is the most generic, good value tamer. On deletion, you can play Takuya from your hand without paying its memory cost. That's cool. You know, if we get there. But, like, that on play is so strong. Ghostmon, it's a 3/1/5K. Just a really strong rookie. Good for evolving on turn 1, too. It's okay. Gigastorm, 7 cost red option, delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. I think it's really strong specifically in this format, mostly because almost everything that's level 5 or lower is below 8K. So if your opponent is breaking on a level 6 and they keep trying to go up multiple chains, you can pay 7 to just wipe a board out. But again, you need red cards to play this. But you might just run it to try to hit it in security. It's probably one of the better removal spells. Gigasmon, this is the other big black hybrid that you play. It's just a blocker. So, I mean, you'll play this regardless of what color you're in. You're probably never going to evolve it on a black tamer, but, I mean, it's a 6K blocker. It doesn't get much better than that. Gomamon, 3/0/3K. On play, when played from Digivolution, draw 2. There are 2 cards that will play this. No, 3. There's a blue option card and then both Waymons. King Waymon and Waymon. They will play this card. If you have the combo and you can play it, this is really cool. Otherwise, it's just one of your generic 0-cost rookies you're going to play. Gatsumon, 3/0. On play, you reveal a green Digimon from your hand. If you do, place it on top of your deck. This is for those green cards that want to evolve cheaply. This Gatsumon is literally just for those when attacking, you get to top check to evolve decks. It has almost no relevance whatsoever in this format. If you are forced to on-play this, it's so awkward. Grumblemon. This is your Black Lobomon. It's a 5/2 that evolves on a tamer. It's okay. Harrismon. This is your rookie from the phone game. And it's the same as the BT4 stuff. When this card is trashed due to activating a Digimon's Digiverse, return it to its hand. It's whatever. It's just a 3/0 rookie you'll play if you see it. Other than that, it's garbage. Huckmon, 4/0/3K. When attacking, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add all cards with Sistermon in their name among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Okay, this is an okay card. Unfortunately, the Sistermons in this set do not have the Sistermons from the previous set, so they're very hard to just hardcast, because you can't evolve them into anything. The Sistermons were good last set, right? Because it was a 3-cost you could evolve into, and theoretically there were times you could make them blockers. These Sistermons require you to play stuff, which is just weird. And it just never happens. JP Shibiyama. It just has security, you get to play it, and then when it evolves into a green Digimon, you get to reduce the cost by 1. It's insane if you have the Beetlemons, otherwise this is nothing. But it does give your Beetlemon and your Metal Kabuterimon piercing, so, you know. My philosophy with the hybrid tamers is that if you get the hybrids for the hybrid tamers, you will most likely play the hybrid tamers. If you don't, you're probably not going to play these because they have no effect whatsoever that's ever relevant. Except Takuya. And we'll get to that. Jaeger Loemon. You can Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your purple tamers as if it was a level 3 Digimon for a memory cost of 2. Probably never going to happen. If card with hybrid, when Digivolving, is in this card's thing, this Digimon gains Retaliate. Cool. This card is ridiculously strong now because, like I said, it's a hybrid set. You Digivolve, you get Retaliate. You can just kill your opponent's stuff. Swing this into anything. It's a level 4 with Retaliate. I don't really need to go much further than that. It's a kill spell on a body, draws you a card typically. Jet Sylphimon. When Digivolving, if a card with hybrid is in its traits, is in this Digimon's Digivolution, recovery 1. Yep. And you'll play this card too. It's just a recovery if you Digivolve on a hybrid. So much hybrid synergy, and you get to evolve on anything. So, just really, really good. Just another egg we're not going to talk about. Kazemon, it's your yellow Lobomon. Just Digivolve on a yellow tamer. Kazuchimon, this was the big yellow card I wanted to talk about. When Digivolving, if you have 3 or more security, you get to gain 2 memory, so this is 3 instead of 5 to evolve. If you have 2 or fewer security, you may recover 1. This does it all. If you Just to start out, it does it all. Like, if you're behind, you get to recover for a little extra cost on Evolve. If you're just in the mid-game, you just get to Digivolve for 3, and then you get this effect. Well, you have 3 or more security, this gains security +1. So this is a 3 Evolve, 12k Sec 1, or it's a 5 Evolve, 12k Recover 1. That might still have security +1. Ooh. Oh, bless me. Sorry, guys. We'll move on to Kendo. Same thing. We don't really care about the Evolve on a Tamer thing. When Digivolving, if a card with Hybrid is in its traits against jamming. Again, just really good value. You get to Digivolve on a Hybrid, gives it jamming, you get your free swings in, then you get to Evolve again. Okay, we get to King Waymon. This is one of the big ones I was talking about. When attacking, you get to play a level 3 Digimon card or a Waymon from this card's Digivolution cards as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. This does not specify color whatsoever. You can 100% just play your level 3 out of this. So this card is so strong because it not only gives you a Mega that you get to play and swing with, but you also get to just get another value card. And then, when you play a Digimon from one of this card's Digivolution, you can bounce something that's level 4 or lower on your opponent's board. It's removal, it's free casting, it's everything you want it to be. King Waymon, broken. Really good card for this format. We get to some more of our Tamers. We got the brothers, Koichi Kimura, Koji Minamoto. Sorry if you haven't seen Frontier, that's a bit of a spoiler. Koichi's basically on play, draw 1, then trash 1. It's okay. It just feels really bad if you don't draw like Loemon or any way to evolve this. Because, like, other than that, you just played 3 for a Tamer that essentially does nothing. It just draws you a card and discards a card. I get it's, like, better than nothing, because, like, you could run this over, like, a level 4 or 5 that you don't like, or an option card that does nothing, but, like, statistically, this is a nothing card that does nothing forever. Koichi, once per turn, you can Digivolve it into a Magna Garurumon. So him and Takuya, by the way, they do the same thing, which is you can Digivolve into the level 6, as if this Tamer was a level 5 Digimon. Which is nuts, because you can go into that Blitz guy for 5 by placing 5 cards with Hybrid and its traits from your hand under this Tamer, which is insane. Like, if you have it, you have it, but, like, you know, him and Takuya do the same thing, and it's nuts, and it just should be talked about, because, like, if you draw the Magna Garurumon or the Emperor Greymon and you get the Tamer, like, you're obviously going to go for that combo, because that combo is too strong for you not to do. Kokomon, another rookie we're not going to talk about. Okay, Korikakumon. Card is nuts. When Digivolving, if a card with Hybrid is in its traits, or the Blue Tamer, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack. It's a wall. It just stops something on Evolve. Just really, really good. Koromon, another in training we're not going to talk about. Kota Demoto. This is your Black Tamer for the set. If you have 2 memory or less, set your memory to 3. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck and add a card with X antibody. It's a go to 3 Tamer, so statistically you will probably play this in whatever deck that you play. Manoa Bellucci was played last set in a lot of decks, despite the fact that a lot of them didn't play Eosmon, mostly because we didn't have go to 3 Tamers. Go to 3 Tamers are really, really good because they prevent you from being memory choked, especially since we have memory boost in this set. It's really good to get that go to 3 ability. There's also a lot of cards that can make this cheaper than 4, so like it's just really good for value in general. Plus, if you run any X antibody cards at all, it can theoretically on play get you something good. Kumamon, when Digivolving, get to trash Digivolution card from the bottom 1 of your opponent's Digimon. That's cool. For the most part, though, this will only get rid of babies, which in trainings almost never matter in this set anyway. So it's a cool card. Lotmon, your turn, once per turn when you play a Tamer, gain a memory, inheritable. So you need this to be a champion first, but this is one of those cards that makes like your Coda cheaper. But it's a generic 0 rookie that you'd probably play. Loemon, this is your purple Lobomon. It's just a 5/2 5k that evolves on that. Okay, we'll talk about Lucemon now, because remember we went back before, our 8-drop option that could play this for free. Now we have the regular one. Your Lucemon can Digivolve into this for a cost of 7. Okay, that's not going to happen. This is the only Lucemon in the set. It's just not going to happen. For every 10 cards in your trash, reduce the memory cost when playing this card in your hand by 3. So pretty late in the game, this gets reduced. When digivolving, you delete an opponent's opponent's tamer or level 6 or lower. Okay, even if you have to hard call this for 14, it's still insane because it just kills something naturally. There are, I think there's what, one level 7 in this set. So the only thing this doesn't kill is Lucimon. Or not Lucimon, sorry. This is the only thing this doesn't kill is Susanoo-Amon. Susanoo-Amon isn't going to die to hardly anything in this format anyway, which makes pulling it even more ridiculous. But, like, this card just straight up kills anything on demand. And there's a possibility of it being 11 instead of 14. But statistically, this is going to cost you somewhere between 11 or 14. It's not, like, if we get to the point where this is going to cost us 8, we are in a really bad position. But, I mean, it's Gaia Force. Like, what more do you want, right? Magna Garurumon. This is the one that the blue tamer can evolve on top of. When digivolving, you can return a hybrid from its traits to the hand to return one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level return to the hand. And then, once per turn, when an effect adds a card to your hand, you may unsuspend one of your Digimon. It's not as good as the Emperor. Like, I'm just going to say it. It's cool if we can digivolve a blue tamer into this, but otherwise, this is probably one of the okayest cards I've ever seen. It hardly does anything. It's removal, sure, but, like, it is so much set up to do so little. Mame Tyramon. When attacking, reveal the top 3 of your deck, you may digivolve this card into a green level 6. This is one of those cards that you need the Gatsumon for. Unfortunately, I wish it just said a level 6. Because it says green, this card is probably unplayable. It's just unplayable, because you can only digivolve it into, like, 3 different cards. Metal Cannon, 2-drop option. Choose one of your Digimon with X antibody and its traits, then draw one for each of that Digimon's Digivolution cards. This can be really good. This can be really bad. Statistically, this is pay to draw 1 most of the time. Or no, sorry. This is probably pay to draw somewhere between 2 to 4. Mostly because by the time we play this, our Digimon needs to be level 4 or higher. That way we're getting the good value out of this. But it's really good if we have it. I mean, it's just to draw a bunch of cards. But like I said, you need to be careful about how much drawing power you put in your deck, because if you draw too much, you will fall. Metal Greymon. On play, if you have a tamer in play, gain 2 memory. If you don't have a tamer in play, you may play a red tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. And then, Inheritable. When one of your opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain a memory. It's cool, I guess. I mean, if we play tamers, it's an on-play for Desperate to get a tamer. It's cool. I don't think it has a lot of merit this set, but, like, I don't know. Might play test it at Standard. Metal Kabu. This is your, this is the level 4 beast form. So, you know. When digivolving, if a card with hybrid in its traits or JP is in this Digimon's Digivolution card, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon 6 care less. So this just suspends a blocker, pretty much. Most of the time I don't really care about suspending something else. Thing to note, though, the JP does give piercing, so if you do suspend a rookie with this, you can swing over the rookie and get your check. So Metal Kabu's really, really cool, but I just don't think it's definitely not as good as Beetlemon. Beetlemon is insane, man. Like, Beetlemon is so good in this format. Modiamon. On play, reveal top 3, add a card with Nightmon or Deadly Axemon in its name to your hand. It's okay. I mean, if we pull the stuff, like I said, this weird Nightmon, Deadly Axemon package is cute, but, like, we have to pull so many cards at an undesirable rarity slot that it just doesn't seem that great. You'll play this if you need rookies. Like, if you just need rookies to evolve in the beginning. Monocro, 628k. Insane. It's an 8,000 DP level 4 for 6. I will always be hard casting this card. It's insane. Mugen, 4 drops, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, it doesn't unsuspend. You know, if we can play this, it might buy us a turn, and it might actually save us a game. So, it's possible. Because this is the problem with draft, right? A lot of cards are very situational, and you just need to have the right moment. And you need to have enough synergies in your deck to be able to play the cards in general. I think Mugen is kind of cool, if you can get it off. Otherwise, probably steer away from it. Nemon, Pokemon's partner. On play, you get to play a tamer card with an inherited effect from your hand without paying its cost, which is kind of cool. And then when one of your Digimon with a tamer and its Digivolution cards is deleted, you can play a tamer from your trash without paying its memory cost. I just don't think it's worth playing. He's not Pokemon, right? Like, he doesn't search for stuff, right? He's already, this card wants us to already have this stuff ready to go, but we can't guarantee that because everything we have is everything we would need for this is in the rare or higher slot. So Nemon's probably not going to be good enough. Nidhogg, our big level 6 3 evolve. When you trash this card in your hand by using one of your effects, gain a memory, and then when Digivolving, you can trash a card in your hand to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Just a good Digimon for the stats. That's all I'm going to say. It's just really good to play. It's just spot removal. Orochimon, when you trash this card in your hand, you get to draw a card, and then when attacking Inheritable, you can trash a card from your hand to gain a memory. Really, really, really good effects. All the way around. I love this card. It's very strong. It's got really good stats for its evolve cost, and on top of that, the Inheritable is nuts. Any memory gain we get is really cool. Black gets its secondary memory boost in the set with Pride memory boost. We get to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck, play a black Digimon card with play cost 4 or less from among them without paying its memory cost, and then place it in the battle area. This thing is so strong if we hit it, but like, oh man. There's what, 4 or 5 targets for this in general, and we need to hit multiple copies of them? I mean, we'll probably play it either way, right? Like, revealing top 3 isn't that bad, but like, if we get this is the nuts. I mean, this is theoretically the nuts right here. Pulspawn, Inheritable when attacking. If you have 3 security, gain 2 memory. You'll play every copy of this. If your opponent somehow puts you to 3 with this in the back, I mean, they deserve it. Like, dude, you're just gonna gain so much memory off this. It basically turns your champion evolve into free. Pasurimon. Don't care. It's an in training. None of these matter. Culi's Blast. When this card be used from your hand, its memory cost is equal to the number of cards in your security stack. So late game, this is cheap. Early game, this is 5. One of your opponent's Digimon gets 3k DP for the turn. Then one of your Ressenmon, this is Ressenmon, gains security +1. It's cool. It's just a removal card, but you need yellow stuff to play it, and you need a lot of yellow synergy for it. Ressenmon, when Digivolving in this card from your hand, the memory cost of this Digivolution is equal to the number of cards in your security stack, which means late game this could cost 0 to evolve. By the way, just to let you know, you will play every version of this card that you pull. That's how nuts this is. If you have 0 security, the memory is 1. Like, imagine if this is a 1 evolve, right? A 1 evolve level 6, and then it just gets this effect, right? You can Digiburst 4 to get this effect. One of your opponent's Digimon gets -3k for each card trashed by this effect. So it's like the Shine Gray, where you get the multiple instances of it, and it's nuts. This card is insane. It's probably the best Mega in the whole set. It's just really, really good. Raihimon, this is another one of those ones that Digivolves reduction. It's like the Jet Sylphie. It's the fusion one. On deletion, if a card with hybrid in its traits within this Digivolution, you can play a Purple Tamer. This is nothing. It does nothing. It will always do nothing. Unless you somehow get enough Purple Tamer synergy to make this work. If you do, bully for you and play it. Otherwise, I would steer clear of this card. It's just not good. Rhino Kabuterimon. When attacking, if a card with hybrid or insectoid is in its traits, this Digimon can Digivolve into a Digimon with insectoid or 10 warriors for a memory cost of 3. This is also one of those cards that's like super whatever because it can Digivolve into specifically Ancient Kabuterimon or Ancient Beetlemon. I can't remember what it was called. And that's it. We don't have any of the Grand Kuwagamons in this set. We don't have any of the Hercules Kabuterimons. Like, we just don't have any of the ancient insects or the insectoid stuff. It's just the hybrids. I mean, it could Digivolve into a 10 Warriors card, sure, but like, this card just doesn't seem like that strong. Saber Leomon, when Digivolving, it gets 5k, and then on deletion, you gain 2 memory. It's a 3 evolve 10k. You'll probably play every copy of this you can. It's just really good, especially if your opponent deals with it, because if they like, this thing isn't dying to anything on swing, right? Like, even Susanoo isn't strong enough to kill this. This will die to nothing when you evolve and swing with it. When it dies on a crackbat, you gain 2 memory. I mean, it's just good value for what it is. Schwarzlersatz. 6 drop for each Digimon with hybrid in its traits, and each tamer you have, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Okay. This is the best removal in this set next to the Lucemon. Like, they're equally tied for me because of how situational they are. You have to have a purple card for this, right? But, like... Oh, man. For each Digimon you have with hybrid in its traits, and each tamer you have, you just get to free delete something that's level 5 or lower. And it's so good in this format, because the majority of the time, your opponent's only going to have level 5 or lower Digimon. It's the best removal, next to the Lucemon just being a straight-up Gaia Force. And it only costs 6! This is nuts! Shellmon, this is a 426k. Like, please run every copy of this. It's... I would hard call this for 4. It's 6,000. It's so strong. The Sistermons, there's nothing really to talk about here. They both do nothing. They're both evolve on a white. They evolve for 2, right? Like, you can theoretically play these, but like they're so bad because they don't do anything. In order for these to do anything, you have to have the specific Sistermons from the last set. So they just don't do anything. So they're just not worth talking about. Skull Nightmon. This is the other Nightmon for our Nightmon package. When attacking, you get to trash all of the Digivolution cards of one of your Deadly Axemon to place it at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution card to Digivolve this Digimon into a Dark Knight. For free. Interesting. And then most Digimon is Nightmon or Bagramon in its name, again, security +1. So this is, again, that Nightmon package, Skull Knight package that's kind of cool if we get it, but again, the rarities, it's just too much. I highly doubt anyone's going to pull enough of this package to make it work, so I'd probably steer clear of it. Although, Inheritable is cool if you pull Bagramon. But I don't think there's a Bagramon in this set. There might be, though. No, wait, no, there's not. We know there isn't. Lol. Starlight Velocity. You may play a Tamer card or a Digimon card with hybrid in its traits from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards as a Tamer or another Digimon without paying its memory cost. Okay. And then you can play a Koji. Minamoto, which is the, that's the blue Tamer, level 3. Again, it's like the Waymon stuff, right? Like, this is really cool if we have a blue Digimon and we can play one of our hybrids out. It's just free stuff. Like, if you pull the top-end blue hybrid stuff, I would probably play this card. Otherwise, steer clear. Stephomon. When Digivolving at this Digivolution... Sorry, this Digimon has one Digivolution card. You may place up to 2 level 4 lower Digimon cards from your hand at the bottom of this card's sources, and then draw 1 for each Digimon card you placed. And then, its inheritable is when this card is trashed due to deactivating this Digimon's Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains security attack +1. This effect's really good, the when Digivolving effect. Secondary effect's only good if we have Rasenmon specifically, because it only works with Rasenmon. So, you know, it's just a generic good level 5. Strabimon. On play, reveal top 4 for a hybrid Susanoo or Koji. Again, this is just like the Flamemon, right? Or, whatever the level 3 rookie for red. It does the exact same thing. You're going to play every copy of this you pull. It searches the biggest things that you'll run. Oh, I'm sorry. Susanoo does kill Leomon. Yeah, my apologies. I made that mistake earlier in the video. So you can Digivolve this card. This is the biggest threat in the whole set, alright? Like, it's hands down. There's no contest. You can Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your Tamers as if it was a level 6 Digimon by placing 10 Tamers or Hybrids from your hand or trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. If you pull Susanoo, you are playing every Tamer you pull and every Hybrid you pull. Because it has security +2 naturally at 15k. Nothing in this set is strong enough to kill this thing on swing. This will end the game. And then when Digivolving, just straight up Gaia Force. Just straight up Gaia Force. Like, this is crazy, right? Because if we click on this, you can Digivolve this on a level 6 for 7 of any color. So, like, pulling this, I understand it's a Seeker Rare. Pulling this will probably win you your pre-release. Because it is just so naturally strong. It is the strongest card in the set, hands down. There's no card that gets as strong as it. There are some cards that can tie it and, like, crash into it. But there's no card in security that's ever going to match this. Or just straight up kill it, because there's no level 7 removal in the format. So, like, once this card hits the board, unless you get, like, Leomon or something, like, or the Retaliate level 4 for purple, this thing is never dying. Like, it's just never dying, and it will completely set your opponent back far enough to where there's no hope of them recovering. Like, this thing is swinging for 3 checks every turn. You are on a 1 to 2 turn clock when this comes out. Because you better win the game or have an answer, because when this thing comes out, it's over. 7 memory is a lot, but it ain't that much. Takuya. So you get to, once per turn, you can digivolve this into Emperor. If you pull the Emperor and you pull Takuya, you're going to play them both, because you can turn Takuya into the Emperor by putting a bunch of hybrids underneath it. And then you just have a Rush Digimon on a Tamer. And then it's just a Rush Digimon in general. Like, it's just a really, really good card. Plus, I can give your Emperor Greymon security +1. Like, Takuya is probably the strongest Tamer. Did I not? Why is Tommy not here? Okay, we'll go over that later. Thunder Laser. If you have a Digimon with Hybrid or 10 words in its traits, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. A 1-drop, if you have a Hybrid, suspend something. Probably play every copy, you know. If you get a green cards, you're probably playing more green cards than anything else in the set, so this is probably the best option, because it's just a free flower. It's just a free flower cannon. For nothing. Okay, we're going to, real quick, we're going to sort direction. Okay, now we have the cards we were missing. Okay, we have Tidal Wave. Choose up to 2 Digimon cards as Digivolution cards and play them as other Digimon without paying their memory cost. Okay, this is insane. If you don't know why, I'm going to explain why. In this format, you can get such a huge advantage out of swarming the board, right? Imagine just playing a 7-cost option that just said, here, let me play a level 5 and a level 4 for nothing, basically. Because you're paying 7, and it's insane. It's just really, really good. Tommy is probably the best tamer in this set next to Takuya, because you get to play him on play. You trash 3 sources. This will get rid of any problematic inheritable. It's so good. And then if you turn this into a Digimon somehow, right, you get until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block. Tommy was one of the cards that was considered on the ban list this past month for a reason. He is so strong. And you might just play him naturally. The ability to just free strip 3 sources is mighty strong. It really, really is. Especially since you can theoretically prevent a yellow player from going into a Rasenmon and getting their Digiburst off. Tortamon. It's a 4/4/2. It's pretty good. Inheritable. When attacking, you can reveal a green Digimon from your hand, place on the top of the deck to have this Digimon gain 3 KDP. That's a pretty good effect, especially in late game. If we have a Mega, we can swing, reveal a green Digimon in our hand, make it bigger than even Susanoo-amon. It's pretty good. Agumon, it's a 2-drop 3K rookie. Vanilla, you will play every copy of this that you see because it's insane. It's cheap, it's free, and it's 3,000. It's so good. Triceramon, more vanillas. You probably were going to play every vanilla you have because vanillas are just generically really good. Tuskmon. When Digivolving, one of your Digimon gets 2k for the turn. Oh, so strong. So you evolve this on a rookie, right? Then it's just a 7k on board. Say your opponent swung last turn. This will swing over every champion to rookie in the early game. And then swing it into security. It only dies to like really high level stuff. Just a really good card. Ultra Turbulence. Main one of your opponent's Digimon and all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3k for the turn. This is a good removal card. It's also pretty good at making sure your Digimon live when they swing. I like this card. I would probably play it, personally. If I see enough yellow. Options are always, if you see enough of a certain color and the card is good enough, run it. If you don't, you don't. Wendigomon. When Digivolving, reveal the top 5, trash all Tamers among them, place remaining cards at the bottom of the deck. It's okay. And then Inheritable, when you play a Tamer, draw 1. Like, the Inheritable is kind of cool if we have Tamer synergy. If not, this card's unplayable. Putting the top 5 to the bottom seems really, really bad, especially if we pull Susanoo. Because if we bottom deck Susanoo, that's the game. Like, we might not come back from that. That's way too big a risk to play this card. Rigurumon. If you have a Tamer in play, gain 2 memory. If you don't, you may play a blue Tamer for him without paying its memory cost. Really, really good card. It's the same as the Metal Greymon. And then when this Digimon comes on suspended during your main phase, gain a memory. Oh man, this is so cool. um, it's just got decent tamer synergy if we on play it, and but it's like the metal, right? If you get the synergy, you play it. If not, you don't. Waymon on play, you may play a level 3 card from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. And if you do, you can place a blue Digimon from your hand at the bottom of one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. Okay, this is a May trigger, so you can play the level 3 and not have to put anything underneath. But man, it's just a really good card. I play Waymon every copy. Card's nuts. You just get to swarm for nothing. Zephyrmon. When Digivolving, if it's a hybrid, this Digimon gets 3k, so it's a 9k on swing. Really, really good. Zoe is okay. On play, you get to search your security stack for a card with hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, reveal it, and to add it to your hand. And if you added a card to your hand, recovery 1. If you play Zoe and you play enough hybrids, you're probably going to play every copy of Zoe. Just because Zoe allows you to get your hybrids out. And also, she'll pull Susanuomon out of the security, which is nuts. So you'll probably run... This is probably the only tamer that I think you will run as many copies as you pull. And if that's the case, then we probably run all of our yellow options too. Well, I hope this guide was helpful. And I hope you all enjoyed this way of going over the set. If you don't like it, I will go back to the way I previously did it. Let me know down in the comments. And y'all have a wonderful day. Good luck with your pre-releases.